just very happy to welcome you all to this Affordable Learning Solutions webinar. Just grateful to our partner Xanadu, who has been sponsoring this series of workshops. This is the fourth of these workshops on affordable learning, and looking at how do we make student success by providing affordable access to quality educational content a priority on our campus. And today's session, we're going to have Jessica Dwork help us understand the power that choosing affordable learning for your students can make in their success. So as we get started, let's move along here. Today, we're again having some introductions, a little story about Xanadu and Rich Foley, just a fantastic leader and partner in Xanadu and working with us in Merlot, and also partner in publishing to really present the stories around affordable learning. And then we're going to have Jessica talking about her story, and then looking at how do you really can leverage using different strategies to help you produce affordable learning, and how Xanadu's FlexEd program really covers many of these elements to help you be successful. For those, just get your mindset about what are some of the key takeaways when we always looking at creating affordable learning solutions. You want to think about what are the learning solutions that are really important, and targeting your learning outcomes, understanding what your students need to learn and what your faculty are working hard to teach, and targeting those learning outcomes and deciding what are the critical content that can help those outcomes be achievable by your students. And as you know, in higher education, moving to alternative content, to different platforms, is a challenge in higher education. When we get into our habits, we tend to sometimes have some challenges changing. Now, as we all know, COVID has had a dramatic effect on our ability to move online in so many different ways, and leveraging technology to enable us to come to some successful strategies, I think has really enabled us, and exploring what are these alternatives that are out there, such as Xanadu's FlexEd. And finally, when you're thinking about affordable learning, thinking about how it's impacting your students and asking them how important this is for them, for their success. And I think that's one of the things you'll hear from Jessica today too as well, about engaging in your students to help you drive those affordable learning solutions. My name again is Jerry Hanley. I've been the executive director of Merlot for a long time, over 20 years, and Skills Commons, which is on workforce development. Both of these are free and open educational libraries. I work as a director of a usability lab to ensure that you make technology easy to use, easy to learn, and enjoyable. And I'm a recovering administrator from the California State University system, where I implemented affordable learning solutions in 2010. And now working with a partner in publishing as a chief academic officer, building those partnerships. And Partner in Pub is a wonderful organization that really helps bridge the gap between the academic enterprises, our institutions, and what we're trying to achieve in higher education, and commercial providers who have been partners in higher education for all the time, bringing content, bringing technology in order for higher education to be successful. And it's my pleasure to pass it over to Rich Foley, Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing at Xanadu. Rich has really just, a wide experience in higher education. He understands higher education, and bringing that expertise is just wonderful. So Rich, it's great to have you on the call today, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Jerry. So very excited. We've been really privileged as Xanadu to be partners in sponsoring this series with both Partner in Publishing as well as Jerry and all of you that have participated thus far. We look to really help to be the glue or the catalyst to help you move to more affordable learning solutions. We're willing to provide, any number of support services to help make that move. And we at Xanadu are very committed and very excited actually for our next speaker, Jessica, to kind of explain how we've been able to partner together with both her and then the student themselves to have some really great outcomes. So thanks so much. Appreciate all of you participating with us.
Great. Thank you, Richard. And everyone, we've used the word partner, and what makes good partnerships is listening. And one of the things I think you'll hear, and my experience with Xanadu too, is they listen to your needs and figure out how to enable you to be successful. And I think that's going to be a critical element for partnerships to be successful, because together you can come up with solutions. And with that, I just want to introduce Jessica Dwork from Phoenix College, and we are just so glad to have you join us here, Jessica, and tell your story about how you at Phoenix College really began innovating with Xanadu and FlexEd services. And so, Jessica, the floor is yours, and begin with an introduction so people understand who you are, and then we'll get into a conversation about how you implemented these affordable learning solutions.
Morning, everyone. My name's Jessica, and I'm nursing faculty at Phoenix College. And Phoenix College is located in the Phoenix metropolitan area. We serve a very diverse student population, and we have initiatives at the college focusing on equity and inclusiveness. And one thing that I felt very passionate about in meeting that initiative is working to provide OER course content and materials for all of my students. And my goal as a faculty member is to include as much OER as possible to reduce that barrier that comes with a student having to decide truly, do I pay my rent this month or do I buy the course materials to be successful in this course? So I'm very proud to have implemented so much OER at the Phoenix College Community College location, and I'm hoping to expand that to more of our sister campuses within Maricopa Community Colleges. One thing that I take great pride in is being awarded a Department of Education grant in order to provide all of our first semester nursing students the pharmacology course through Xanadu and the FlexEd platform. So that's been a great accomplishment and something that's so beneficial to the students and has been really, truly a blessing to those first semester students.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. And can you talk a bit more about, you're talking about your first semester students coming into nursing. Tell us a little bit about who are these students and the challenges that they're facing, and also about the importance of getting learning solutions, the quality materials to enable your students to be successful in achieving their nursing certificates, programs, and degrees.
Yeah, so at Phoenix College, we serve a very diverse population. We're known for that in the Arizona area. And so what's nice about offering these OER course materials is that it doesn't exclude anybody, truly, because the cost is kept so low for those students. They're able to utilize their financial aid, and it goes a lot further for them. So we've had students that have not been able to afford other course materials, but they've stated, I was able to purchase the OER materials, but I wasn't able to purchase the higher ticket priced items that are on, maybe through a different publisher. So that's what's been so nice about the OER. It truly gives everybody an opportunity to be successful in the course. And so by saying to them, it's this amount of money, we keep the cost low, they are able to purchase those materials from the beginning of class versus having to wait until maybe they get additional funds. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's great. And and I think some of the next thing to highlight too is, that your nursing program is a whole year program. And so the amount of funds to cover all that content, which is critical to cover, because right, they have to learn all the critical skills to be a successful nurse. You want to talk a little bit about, did you change everything all at once, or did you begin with pieces? Because that's one of our challenges in higher education is we're all so busy doing so much. How do you move from your traditional publishers to alternatives?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our program is actually a 2-year program.
Ah.
And that's okay. And I teach in the first semester of the students. However, the course materials carry throughout all 4 semesters for those students. They have a big, financial burden in the beginning of the courses because that's where they purchase a lot of their course materials. So what we did in the first semester is we did small steps. And if I could say, in my opinion, the one thing that makes OER successful is doing it in little steps and not trying to change everything all at once. That can feel very overwhelming to faculty. So we went ahead and we decided to start with the pharmacology course. And we took that and we with that Department of Ed grant, we worked with Michael at Xanadu, and we set up that all of those first semester students would have that course throughout their program. Then we decided this semester to implement the skills course through Xanadu. And that's been such a great asset to the students. They really love the simplicity of the products. The faculty are loving the Xanadu platform because it's easy to edit. Everything's there. We had some faculty concerned about, well, do we have some faculty resources included? And all the faculty resources are there. There's test banks, there's quizzes, there's interactive case studies. There's lots of things that you can utilize. And the students are truly loving the simplicity yet comprehensiveness of the courses. So they're not missing out on anything, but it's put in such a way that it's easy to work with. And they're really, retaining a lot of the information. And they're loving also some feedback that we've gotten is they love how there's not only readings, but there's videos, there's interactive case studies, there's activities, there's knowledge checks, there's just everything. It's like a one-stop shop for all of their learning needs.
That's wonderful. And I think some of the things that you're highlighting here is to achieve a learning solution, you have to have the content, but you also have to have the various assessments, assignments, and having it really multimedia enables you to really pursue a universal design for learning strategy, because our students have many different skills and capabilities, and providing multiple formats really can help create learning solutions for your students. So wonderful things. Now, in your discussion there, you said, and yes, I talked to Michael. So who's this Michael person that you have here? Can you talk a little story around, how you kind of brought Michael into the picture and who he is?
Yeah, so Michael Kubiak, we've been working with him very closely. And I have grown very fond of Michael and his ability to just help whenever you need it. So something that happened this semester with the integration of the skills course is that we noticed that it was lacking some of the skills that we needed for our first week of class. And of course, the panic kind of started to set in, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to find all this content? Well, so I sent an email to Michael and I said, hey, Michael, I'm not seeing this content. Can you help me find it? We found that it wasn't really in there. All of it wasn't in there in a way that we needed it. Michael says, if you can get me that content or some of the things that you'd like in there, we can put it in there for you, and we can move some other content around to make a module just for your first week, where we go over 25 plus skills with our nursing students. He made it happen with the help of Derek within, I'd say, 3 days. It was done. They did all the copyright checks for us. They made sure that the information was suitable and able to be used, and that we, had references and we were giving credit where credit was due. And it was such a flawless and seamless experience. And we felt so much better And we were prepared that first day with those students because of their help. And their customer service is something that I've never experienced with any other publisher. I've been on hold for hours trying to chat with people, taking a lot of time, not understanding. And with these guys, they just know what you need. They ask questions, they'll meet with you. I've emailed and said, hey, Michael, I have a question. And he's like, let's get on a Zoom in, 10 minutes. And it's been wonderful.
That's great. And again, Michael and Derek work for Xanadu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's something of what you're bringing out is how do faculty get supported in achieving their designs for their course materials? And you often need support from people with expertise in technology and instructional design. And that's Xanadu brings both a platform to make it easy for you to use and find your stuff, and also the instructional design support to help you achieve those solutions when you need it, right? That's just wonderful.
Yes, and one more thing to add, I'm sorry that I forgot, is Michael provided a student orientation for us because our students were wondering, how do I best utilize this product, which is something that we don't do the best job of sometimes as faculty, is truly utilizing a product to its fullest. He came and did an orientation, and bless his heart, when we had all these tech issues, we couldn't hear him. He made a video within 20 minutes and we sent it and we posted it for our students. So it's truly, the customer service is amazing.
That's wonderful. And I think what we're bringing out here is partnerships, again, is around listening and then acting in a collaborative manner. So you working with Michael working with you to come up with strategies that really produce solutions for your students' learning success. That's wonderful. And for yourself, what are you looking forward to in the future, Jessica, about what's next in this area? You have your grant and providing that support. What's next?
Well, our college is very on board with promoting OER and implementing OER across all disciplines. They provide fellowships for faculty to be a part of, to not only create, but work with or partner, I guess you could say, with companies who provide courses. And we work together to make sure we're mapping the curriculum to whatever the courses are. And so I'm in a fellowship right now, and I'm really excited to work hopefully with Michael. I have to, contact him and let him know, to work with the fundamentals course. So we just had with the release of the OER fundamentals book, I'm hopeful that we can work and get the OER course for the fundamentals to come out. And that would mean all 3 of my books in the first semester would be OER.
Wonderful. That's and you've talked a little bit about this too, is how important is it for you just not being alone doing this, but you're part of an institutional strategy? Talk about a little bit about what's going on in your department or your college or at the larger administrative provost level. Are you getting support for these type of things? And are you, just talk a little bit about the institutional context for this.
Yeah, so our campus, and actually all of Maricopa, I'm part of the Maricopa Community College District, which we have 9 nursing programs within that district. They're very supportive of OER, and there is money for faculty who are interested in implementing, integrating that OER into their course. We have workshops frequently on these things. We have a kind of super users, I guess you could say, of OER who have used it for a long time, that mentor other faculty. As part of the fellowship that I'm in, I have a mentor who has done OER for quite a bit of time, and we're going to work together to come up with that project. And that is something that is additional pay. There are stipends that go along with the creation, and it's not only creation; it could be revamping, editing, using, remixing material that's already there. So that's where I'm looking forward to, having the expertise at Xanadu truly to work with us on that, to get that going for next semester, hopefully.
Right. And does this, the institutional strategy, that would you say that's really important in helping you kind of think about what's next rather than just being left out by yourself? Oh, what do I do type of thing.
Yeah, I think any change is scary by yourself. I think if you can have, kind of a team approach, getting people who have done it before, getting, seeking opportunities at the college. If there's not currently an opportunity with OER, that's something you might consider writing up and presenting, to the campus administration, saying, hey, I'd really like to do this. Would you be able to, fund this project if I'm interested in doing it? But I think having that team approach, having, not only Xanadu, but we have a CTL, which is our Center for Teaching and Learning. We have representatives there that can help you with integration of OER. You have to tap into those resources. I think it kind of takes a village with the OER, getting it going. Once you get it going, you're going to feel really comfortable, and that's where you start building. So I was scared at first, but then I did the pharmacology, and then I did the skills, and now I'm doing the fundamentals, and it's going to keep going.
That's great. That's wonderful. And what I'd like to do next is we put together just some lessons learned here about focusing in on students' needs, for example. And I think you brought this out particularly around when you had Michael do an orientation, thinking about not only what faculty need to change the course content, but also what the needs are for your students to not only have affordable ones, but also understand they have to learn too. So any further comments that you would want to make about the importance of addressing your students' needs?
Yeah, I think kind of meeting the students where they're at is, I think a lot of the faculty are feeling that the students aren't quite where we thought they would be, especially after the pandemic. So meeting their needs, finding what works for them. What's so nice about OER is that even in the Xanadu courses, I can go in there and edit. So if a student says, hey, I'm not seeing this, or I'd like to see more of this, I like more videos, I like less videos, whatever it is, we can essentially create a customized course using the OER, the course that was given to us by Xanadu, and edit it. And it's really easy once you get the hang of it to do that. And Michael will work with you on that. So we had many meetings together where he helped me with that. So I think just asking the students what works best for you. I know something that the students love currently in the pharmacology course are, the tables. The drug information is put into a condensed table that's very meaningful to them that they can then take. What's also nice is they can highlight in the readings with the course. They can make notes. They can share it with their study groups. There's a lot of great resources within that Xanadu has worked really hard to have there. That's wonderful. And one other thing that I didn't mention is there is an integration into Canvas. So if you are a Canvas user, and there's probably an integration into other LMS systems, but if you're a Canvas user, all of the activity that the students do in the Xanadu courses goes into the gradebook into Canvas.
So that makes your life a little bit easier, huh?
Yeah, I'll take it at this point.
and I think what we're getting at now is really the faculty needs that you have. You want to talk a little bit about that. We have the issue around finding content, the design process. Anything else you want to highlight there?
I just think that like I said, one thing that faculty, I think some of us can agree on is that sometimes we go like, oh, if we're going from this other course material that we've used for 10 years, just say, and it's scary to take that leap. It's all in there. So that's something that was concerning to some of the faculty is, hey, what is this OER course and what's in there for us? And is it going to be useful? And it has proven to be amazing, if not better than what we've had in the past. And it's just a variety. It's just different. It's new and it's fresh, and the students love it.
Great. And you've talked a little bit too around the importance of remixing materials there. As you as a faculty member, does that help you feel like you're customizing it for your particular students, and that the important role that faculty have always played now is supported by this remixing ability?
Yeah, we love that. The thing about using any other publisher typically is you're just, you're kind of stuck with what's there. If you don't like a video, if you don't like part of the reading, you have to tell the students, don't read that, don't look at that, don't, disregard, or they read it and then it's not useful to them. In the OER course, we have moved things, we have taken things out, we have added things, we have edited things, and that's where that becomes that customizable that the faculty love. If they don't, we could add it all into that OER course. We don't have to build it in Canvas and then in OER. We just put it all in the OER course, and the students, it's a one-time click for them, which is nice.
Great. So this is wonderful. And I know we can go on for another hour talking about all these things. And I think that the other important aspect about nursing is such a dynamic content area that being able to update and remix and revise for your students to give them the learning solutions that they need and to make it affordable is wonderful. And so thank you, Jessica. And we're going to talk a little bit about the kind of the institutional strategy yet around the importance. So folks, when you're thinking about implementing your affordable learning solutions into your institution, and the first 3 sessions, we're really talking about this institutional strategy, thinking about how do you do the communication and outreach, how do you enable your leadership to really set the priority for affordable learning. Jessica talked about their Center for Teaching and Learning, partnering with those organizations, supporting with libraries, working with your bookstore. How do you really find these libraries of material? If you're looking for OER, as many people know, I'm the Merlot Executive Director, and we also at Skills Commons and Workforce Development. We got a lot of free stuff out there in creating your own leverage. And Xanadu, what's wonderful about Xanadu's FlexEd is they provide you a one-stop shop. Once you curate the stuff, you just go there and you can get all the information there, technical support. And I think the important element is, how do you have someone on your campus to really help coordinate this? And I think, Jessica, it sounds like you're in a community of faculty members that really help coordinate this effort, and with that grant, really helped out as well. Any comments around these campus services? And then I'll pass it over to Rich.
Just one thing I forgot to mention is our campus has OER specialists, which are actually student workers who help to find, to edit, to work with OER as well. So that's something to think about at a campus level is, promoting students being part of this process, and that is a paid position at our campus, but it's a student who is in courses throughout the campus who can then say, this is what I like, this is what I need, and I found it. And so they help us find some of those materials, and we rely on them a lot as well. So if it's not there, all I want to say is, if it's not there, ask for it.
Right. Excellent. And Rich, I'll pass it to you here to talk about, the Xanadu services that help a campus implement affordable learning.
Thanks, Jerry. I think it's you guys have both done a terrific job of kind of outlining what a campus, what an instructor, what a student might need, and to implement a successful affordable learning solution. And I think what's important to know here is, as Xanadu, without going through every checkbox and everything that you see, is we have enormous capability to partner and work with you in this. And whether it's to help you in your very early stages, to help jumpstart as a partner early on, we're there, or we can be there throughout, whether it's campus outreach, tech services, or working closely with the library to link to whole needs and things. These are all services that we provide. Instructional design, we're willing to stand there when, as opposed to you guys, many places you're in a long line to get instructional design services. We offer them as part of this sort of a partnership. So as I think everybody has kind of said, we're there to partner, and those stories about Michael are fantastic. I'm so pleased to hear about that. But that's the level at which we want to partner, and we're committed to affordable learning.
Great. Yep. And listening to Jessica, there is a multifaceted, dynamic nature of partnership, right? And I think that's what one of the wonderful things, that and working with Xanadu and understanding what they've been working in higher education for many years. So that's one of the things about Xanadu. They really understand the nature of higher education because they've been in the business for a long time. All right. And the next thing here, just is in thinking around Xanadu's efforts, not just at Phoenix College, but Rich, you want to talk a little bit about where else Xanadu has and FlexEd program has been implemented?
Sure. Whether in a very a great way at Florida State College in the first year experience, we were able to work and customize the courseware in a similar way to what Jessica did in nursing. We partnered with with one of the faculty members to pull together their first year experience course, where it started with an OER component, but then they had their own, obviously, each college first year experience is their own. And there's a lot of customization that needs to go with that. So we were able to really, work with them in that way. Or at a Sinclair College, where they're doing an awful lot of use of print materials, because at this point, there wasn't enough, from a technology standpoint, there wasn't quite enough access to technology. So we were able to come up with low-cost print options. And then just yesterday, I happened to look, I'm based in the Ann Arbor area. I happened to look and I saw how Washtenaw Community College had saved their folks over $9 million, their students, over the course of the last 7-8 years through the use of OER and affordable learning solutions. We're a big partner with them, both in terms of course packs, as well as selling them print versions of OER. So I think it's really exciting what we can, as I said, help at any stage, whether you're one instructor pushing forward on your own into the OER world, or if you've got your entire institution focused on and have a lot of momentum around OER. We're a great partner that way. We work with the bookstore closely. We obviously work very closely with faculty, but also we really like incorporating the library to our FlexEd solution, making sure we're using the holdings that the library has already purchased. Let's use that content as well to integrate into FlexEd. So lots of different opportunities for us to work together as partners at all levels for your OER launch.
Great. And just to highlight something that Rich has talked about, the issue around affordability, and reminding people of some information we gave on the earlier webinar is affordability makes a big difference for your students, right? Data is showing that students, it was like 43% of the students say they take fewer units per semester because of the cost of textbooks. And if your campus is trying to improve graduation rates, basically it means students have to take more units per semester, right? And so affordability has an important impact on students' success in graduating in a timely manner. And the amount of money that you can save is significant. And I'll just say, from the Cal State system, our affordable learning solutions in the year 2021 saved students $77 million in a year. That is a significant financial aid package that can keep students progressing through their degree program in an effective way. And so the first thing always to think about in affordable learning is, how do you tie it to an institutional priority, whether it's graduation rates, enrollment, or your state legislators are pushing things. And then just to remind you all again, around when you're thinking about an institutional strategy, begin with the ABCDEs, right? aggregating assets. Think about all the partners on your campus, the library, your Center for Teaching and Learning, your instructional design, academic technology, and then building the bridges to help that collaboration. When Jessica talked about having students working with finding and revising OER, and again, another collaborative process, creating capabilities that make it convenient and affordable. FlexEd platform, that technology really makes life easy for people. Then you have the developing the demand. That is, how do you get faculty and students to want to change to alternatives? You need training, professional development, support. So they say, boy, I like this. This is really good. I want to do more. And listening to Jessica talk about, I started with pharmacology, then we moved to skills, and now I'm going to go on for more. That's kind of how you get faculty to, in a sense, developing the wanting, the needing, the demanding for change, and also at the very top, enabling the ecosystems with policies, leadership, business models, funding and support that your leadership can put into place to provide fellowships, right, that enable you to play a role in this process. So again, just highlighting these major elements to an institutional strategy so you can get that return on all that investment. So with that, I think we're down to, we have just 5 minutes left for our question and answer period here. And so both online folks, for those participating, feel free to ask your questions directly. And I think we have we also ask questions for people when they registered, and we have that one set up for to responding to. And I think Rich, you have the first question there.
Jerry, one of our attendees sent this one in, and I'll direct it to you. But it was, they were wondering if you could share a rubric for the evaluation of affordable learning solutions.
Sure. And so if you want a rubric for the course material, or you can have or if you want a rubric for your institutional strategy, all right? So let me begin with one. So if your institution wants to say, how are we going to implement an affordable learning solutions? And in a rubric, you can say, do I have a communication and outreach program? And, 0 could be, nope, we have nothing. A 1 could be, we have, general messages around student success and around affordability. And, a grade of 2 could be, we have the president and provost, including affordable learning as a policy within my institution, and things along those lines. So you can create, and what I'm trying to do is use this slide to say, where is your institution on each one of these: communication, professional development? Does your Center for Teaching and Learning, are they conducting workshops on using and revising and remixing OER or not? All right. Do you have help support services? Do you have your reference librarian helping support that process? Or do you have a faculty, and we call them ambassadors, Jessica talked about fellows, ALS fellows, to provide peer support? So you can use this list here as a checklist of where your institution stands on their strategy for implementing affordable learning. And in particular, I think the last one, the one with the 4 stars next to it, is, has your campus implemented a coordinator? Do they have someone who is, in a sense, responsible to make sure all these different elements work together to support faculty and students? In all my experiences, that's really going to be a critical element there for your a rubric for an institutional strategy. real quick on content, I think there are many strategies for affordable learning. And you can look at if you're using Quality Matters for the quality of your instructor, and Merlot and Skills Commons, we have rubrics too as well. And I know we're running out of time, but those we can have those available online. All right. Again, just looking at the time, we still have just another minute. Are there any other questions that have come up in the Q&A or the chat? I can take a quick look too here as well.
Yeah, there are a couple of
Okay, let me see.
questions in there.
Oh, questions in the Q&A box. Hang on, here we go. Okay, so Robert's comment, yep, his comment was around the cost of materials, not a problem, but how colleges and university bill for this. And I think some of the challenges, Robert, is I find it interesting that materials required for your courses are left up to the students to pay, right? Yet we will invest in our libraries to provide access for our research side. And I think that's a real challenge of how do you move the cost of all that course content into a different way to bill and really charge students and tuition and find other alternative ways to cover the cost of those materials. Geeta is there a cost if a faculty member wants to avail of your services and customize a course? So Rich, you want to talk a little bit about the Xanadu's strategy and what the costs are?
Yeah, absolutely. In general, there are the cost is for the instructional design and the consultation and kind of how Mike has worked with Jessica. There is no real cost to that. It's really all part of getting the training, getting your OER and affordable learning solution on target, as long as you're using the Xanadu FlexEd product, whether if you're teaching, for example, in American government, if you use our FlexEd American government, we're happy to have our instructional design team, our communications team, all work with you to bring out the necessary customization or even the training, kind of the video that Mike did for you, those sorts of things. No, we really, so long as you are implementing the FlexEd program, whether it's American government or in, non-majors biology, those are things that would be, it's kind of rolled into the very reasonable affordable learning cost, even for everything, for the traditional FlexEd product going directly, it's $35, in that area. So even with all the services provided, the end price to a student, if in fact that's the business model that is having the student cover, it would be in that $35 range.
Great, thank you. And just as the last item here, Sally Robertson from Tennessee, hi Sally, asked, how do I get my campus admin to use Xanadu? One of the things, Sally, if you want to email, let's say, I think our last slide is an email address to who on your campus you would want to know about this, right? And Xanadu can follow up with you about, here we go, can contact that administrator to learn more about Xanadu. And I think, I know we're sorry, Rich, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm happy to have, if you would just want to contact me directly, it's rfoley@xanadu.com. I'm happy to have a discussion before we contact any administrator, just so I get a lay of the land. We can be even more effective. I'm happy to do that as well. Again, it's rfoley@xanadu.com. xanadu.com.
Great. Great. Thank you. And I know, folks, we're a little bit over, but I just want to say in closing out, thank you so much. And if you have further questions, you want to contact us, feel free to email the highered@xanadu.com, and it'll get back to myself or Jessica or anyone else here on the Xanadu team for that. So thank you for those who have stuck with us all through all 4 webinars. Thank you so much. I hope you found this a useful and informative webinar series. And if you just joined us for this last one, we have 3 other exciting webinars where the recordings are available and you can get that information. So with that, for our partners in publishing, who has enabled a lot of this to happen all together, and as well as our Xanadu partner here, thank you so much for joining, and wish you the best for the rest of the semester.